Hello, everybody. I'm going live and I am going to have a guest with me today. So hang with me for 1 second while I get this done. All right, guys, we'll be live together in a second. It is adding my special guest. So give us a couple seconds. It's showing me it's adding right now. All
There
right,
you
see you.
are.
Next.
Ah,
We got it
awesome.
done. Oops, oops, oops.
You're
My
so
phone
awesome.
just slid
So
down.
awesome.
Alrighty. So, for everybody that sees my Feel Good Fridays, I am here early and we are actually going to be talking about abundance mindset in addition to health and wellness. So, Dominique, tell everybody, all my audience, who you are and why we're having this chat today.
So my background is I'm the chair of the Pontiac Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm the working with great business leaders around the city of Pontiac to fortify and grow the economy within the city, but also within Oakland County. And my interest is in health and well-being, and my wife is an avid user of Young Living's thing. I love walking in and smelling thieves and feeling like I'm leaving the outside in the outside, and enjoying the essence of everything Young Living has to offer.
Nice. So, you've been actually trying to get me to come around to the Pontiac Chamber for like almost a year, but it's only been probably about the last 3 months or so
Yeah,
that I've been coming around more on a regular basis. And I definitely appreciate the individuals that honestly, a lot of you guys are way further along when it comes to building your brands and growth mindset. And so I appreciate being part of the community like yourself and Max Main and Mary Evans. You guys are just like amazing. So I appreciate being around you guys and having the opportunity to collaborate with you guys. But we were just chatting at one of the our first Fridays, right? And we were talking about why does it seem like there's certain people that, or certain groups of people at times that can excel in a certain area, and yet then there's others that can't. And so I was just kicking around some ideas that I had thought of. And so we just thought it'd be cool to have a back and forth chat with some of those things that I found.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think one of the things that I've learned about you is that you're very tenacious. I actually know someone who spoke very highly of you and has been in the game for years, like you, and been an entrepreneur pursuing their dreams. And so really, it's a it's a testament to you and the work you're doing and the work you're out there to accomplish, and providing opportunities for families not only to have health but to have abundance in their life. And I think that's that mindset is really one of the things that I think is consistent for the chamber and Young Living and what they want to offer to the world. I know for us, our key goal is like, hey, we want to create a new era in business in our communities. And whether we like it or not, it's going to happen. And it's like we get to kind of dictate what it is our community looks like going forward. So, many people are talking about the industrial revolutions, going from the third industrial revolution to the fourth industrial revolution. And I think one of the key things is going to be to develop that abundance mindset.
Right,
Right.
exactly. So I actually heard a super good quote yesterday that was gratitude is the key to achieving abundance. So that's the first thing. That's the first step. Like we got to be
Hmm.
grateful for what we have, including being grateful for our opportunities because
Yeah.
recognizing not looking at things like I have some type of disadvantage or looking at things where we
Yeah.
are, but being grateful
Yeah.
for what we have and being grateful for that opportunity. That's like the
Yeah.
first step to get you moving, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah. So, I had a really great mentor, and he said, uh, you are who you are because of your community.
Yep.
And ultimately one of the things that I want for my children when I think about them is like that they're known, celebrated, and like loved in the community. And I think, when I think about abundance, I'm like, everything I'm doing is so that they can have that experience. And that's the experience I want for every child in the city of Pontiac, every child in United States, and Michigan, is that, you know, they're loved, right? They're celebrated,
Yep.
and they're, embraced for who they are in the world. So,
Yep. And I actually looked up the definition of abundance. So there's actually three definitions. And when I think of it, it's really important that we have abundance in our spirituality, our health, our wellness, and our relationships. Even though there's some people that they may not want to be a six-figure earner, you still want to have abundance maybe in a lot of other areas of your life. And that it's going to be the same mindset to get you, if you're trying to be a spiritual leader leading hundreds of people, you're going to need the same mindset that it would for you to be like a six-figure earner. So some of the definitions of abundance were an extremely plentiful or oversufficient quantity or supply,
hmm
overflowing fullness, and then the last one was just affluence and wealth. So
yeah,
that's what we want. We want a plentiful supply when it comes to our health, our wellness, our relationships, and our
hmm
spirituality. In addition to those of us that are trying to get monetary gains so that we can bless others with that as well.
absolutely. And I think that if there's anything I learned over the years, my favorite biblical story is the widow and the oil, right? And the widow and the oil is like, they were like, go to your neighbors and ask them for something they don't care about, the empty vessels, right?
Yeah.
And it's like there was a lot of them, right? It's like, go get as many as you
Yep.
can, and then take
Yep.
what you have, right, which was, she said
Yep.
she had a little bit of oil, right? And she's like,
Yep.
oh, I have a little bit of oil, right? And she took that oil, and he's like, pour that oil till it ceases, right? And what I'm reminded about Pontiac, what I'm reminded about the world, is everybody has something, right? Everybody has
Yep.
something, and so there is abundance within inside of all of us, right? We all have skin cells that flake off, right? We all have, ears and nose and mouth, and we have some, something, right? We have hair, right? I look at your hair and I'm like, woo, it's like, ooh,
Yep.
you know. I was like, can I get some? But we all have an abundance of something and I think that if we start with where we are and what we have, we can actually take that and, keep seeing it manifest and grow and move forward. So, that's one of the things I hope for the, people of Pontiac and people of the world, is that we develop this mindset that there's more than enough
Yep.
in the world. So,
Yeah. And one of the other things that I was looking up, there's a book called The Growth Mindset. And
yeah.
that's one of the things that we really have to focus on making sure that we're developing, not having a fixed mindset and concentrating on people's certain gifts or
hmm
skills or things like that, because we all have the ability to learn, to grow, and to improve. So that's what we want to instill in children. We want to praise them for the hard work that they're doing. If they,
Absolutely.
anytime that they give 100% effort, that's praiseworthy. If
Absolutely.
they were born with good speaking skills, that's fine. We can praise them for that, but make sure that we're always talking about continuous improvement.
Constant, continuous improvement. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, over the last 3 years with the chamber, we've seen that. I mean, one of the things that I can say about everyone is like building trust, right? Like, I think it took the amount of time that it took to build trust with the community and the citizens, and there's no limit, right, to trust. Like, you
Right.
can keep expanding it and growing it, you know, to infinite levels. So, as we expand the trust, I think we can expand the opportunities to receive the abundance that's already here, right? Because it's really our perception, right? Like, our
Yep.
perception is what's telling us what's here and what's not here, right? So, like,
Right.
it's like, oh, there's not enough. Is that is that your reality, or is that just your perception? And I think sometimes we
Yep.
don't do enough educating on what is reality and what is your perception.
Right. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
One other book that I thought was super, super good on the right mindset of how to achieve was Grit.
Mm,
And the definition of grit in order to achieve is passion plus perseverance.
passion.
Those are
Say it again.
the passion
Passion. Yeah.
plus perseverance.
Okay.
That is all that you need to do to succeed. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter what neighborhood you came from, what country you came from, what your skin color is, what your education level is.
Yeah.
If you can develop passion for something and
Yeah.
you can persevere in it, you will
Yeah.
be successful.
Yeah. And look, one of the things that's really important to me at this point is like we have more computing power than NASA had in our phones. So we have more computing power than NASA had in our phones. They had a room, right?
Right,
A room, a very
right.
large room with the computing power that we have in our phones. And so,
Crazy.
isn't that crazy? And so, one of the things I think that is, super amazing is that with the direct to consumer marketplace expanding at exponential rates, it's really our opportunity to do multiple different kinds of business structures inside of that, right? So, as an example,
Yep.
one of the business structures I'm working on currently is arbitrage, right? Retail
Hmm.
arbitrage. So, I love shout outs to Gary V, shout outs to Gary Vanderchuck,
Right.
right? Much love to him. Uh, so, we last year we recycled something with our recycling company, and I'm like, hey, maybe I could sell this versus taking it to the scrapyard. And I sold electric eye drip pans to someone in another state for $26. And I'm like, why would someone pay $26? And I'm like, Dominique, you don't know what people are going through. Good morning. Hey, Vicky. Hey, George. Right. And so one of the things is, we take it for granted being in a metropolitan area that we have
Hmm.
access to everything. There are people around the country and in other countries who do not have access to everything, and their access point to everything is their phone,
Right.
right? And so
Yep.
we have an abundance of consumers around the world that we can access at any moment, anytime. So, we're really excited about the direct to consumer marketplace, and just yesterday we sold something for $500 on eBay, right? So in 1 year's time, we sold something, you know, about, I don't know, 25 times the value of what we sold it last year. And so that's what I think is the exponential abundant opportunity is how do we
Yep.
encourage people to utilize their cell phones like we're doing right now to, access the abundant nature of the marketplace.
So I had 8 points that came from a book called Eight Keys to Being a Six-Figure Earner, and it was directed towards women. And like what you just said touched on three of the first points. So financial success
Okay.
is possible in almost any field, and lack of education doesn't have to hold you back. Working hard
Hmm.
doesn't mean working all the time, and focus on fulfilling your values rather than financial gain. So, leveraging the internet, like you just leveraging technology, leveraging tools, and then you just talked about providing a value to someone else. It may not have that much value for us, but if we can provide a value to someone else, that is how we reach abundance.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, the the thing that I can say that has most shocked me and surprised me is there's a lot of people participating out there, right? And we're still barely scratching the surface, right? Like
Yep. Yep.
if Jeff Bezos, right, is worth $150 billion, right? That
Yep.
shows that shows us like, and he doesn't even control 100% of the market. You got companies out there like Alibaba, Wish, eBay, right? There's a multitude of companies, right, out there working to gain access to providing value to customers. And so I think, one of the things that we have the greatest opportunity to do is share our story with others, connect with them, and provide value. And in
Yep.
exchange, they can provide currency.
Exactly. And I just want to touch on a couple of the other points, just because, as you know, as an entrepreneur, you're always going to come across obstacles and problems, right? So we already talked about that passion. Loving what you do is the most important thing. Do it even if you don't get paid, right? That's how you persevere until you get paid for the value that you're bringing. Feel the fear, have doubts, and go for it anyway. And always think of in terms of trade-offs and not sacrifices.
So
So
there,
those are important
yeah,
things.
and so just to accentuate what you said, one of my great mentors said, the potential is inside of the unknown.
Yep,
So people are like, I want to fulfill my potential. The potential is inside the unknown.
that's awesome.
One more time. The potential is inside the unknown, right?
Right,
And so if we think about everything you said, it's like going for it means you don't know.
right,
If you know, that's not your potential,
right.
right? And so, honestly, I think there's so many people who can learn from any of us, right? And one of the things
Right.
why I wanted to do this was I think there's a great story about entrepreneurship, right? Learning, right? Continuous constant improvement. Like in what you're reading, can you just give me the eight again? The 8 points out of the book?
So the total 8 points, it's from, and it's the keys to six-figure earner women.
Mm-hmm.
Financial success is possible in almost any field, and lack of education doesn't have to hold you back is point number one. Point number two is working hard doesn't mean working all the time. Point number three is focus on fulfilling your values rather than financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
Four is loving what you do much more important than what you do. Five is feel the fear, have doubts, go for it anyway. Six is think in terms of trade-offs, not sacrifices. And then seven, I hadn't mentioned yet, sometimes you just have to shrug it off and have a good laugh. So
Mm-hmm.
failure is part of the process. Just pick yourself up and go on. And the last one is appreciate abundance.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
are the 8 points.
Yeah. And I think the perseverance part is like people love the comeback story. People love the success story, right? And it's only
Yep,
through perseverance that you can produce that.
exactly. Yeah, we had one of the trainings that I went to in Mexico. One of the individuals was talking about how they're killing it in Mexico, and we have a lot of other countries that we need to succeed in, and Mexico is like Usain Bolt, and so everybody's got to follow the leader. He's made he broke world records, and everybody follows and has gotten better. And then later, another speaker put up some pictures about when, Usain Bolt actually ripped his quad and when he's dragging the tires and stuff like that. And that's part of it. So you got to not only love the results, but you got to love the process. You got to love the pain it's going to
Mm,
take to get you there too.
absolutely, absolutely. And my background's in engineering, and you know, the things I'm learning about recycling, right? The things I'm learning about business development, the things I'm learning about building relationships. These are all educational lessons that I never learned in college. So
Yep.
it wasn't necessary to necessarily go to college to produce
Right.
a six-figure income, right? And there are plenty of people
Right.
who haven't gone to college who have produced six-figure incomes, right? Just think
Right.
about it like this: college actually systematizes what people learn, right?
Yes.
So supply chain management, as an example, was not a discipline 30 years ago. Now it's a
Yep.
degree. Now it's a degree. So where did they get
And
it
I
from?
actually I actually worked in supply chain management for 12 years with a general business degree. Everything that I learned, and I was at one of the top of my fields and moved to a different field.
Yep.
And I'm now in the field of facilities management, and I am at a fairly high level at GM with no training ever in facilities management. They appreciated my bilingual skills, my project management skills, my documentation skills, my presentation skills. That's why I was brought in, not because I knew a single thing about facilities management.
Absolutely. And so one of the things I think that's super important is like If you go back to the list, what was the number one thing?
The number one thing
Yeah,
is financial success is possible in almost any field, and education
absolutely.
is not important.
Absolutely. And so that is the thing that I want to center and focus around in Pontiac and basically in Michigan, is that financial success is not dependent upon your credentialed education, right? And so I
Yep.
believe if we have people who want to focus on that with us, I think we can make a significant difference because, any great thing happens in groups, right? Like the United States is a really big group.
Yep.
And so ultimately, one of the missions of the chamber is to ignite people to pursue financial success without a concern of their educational background, right? And so, we want to make sure that people have access to building the incomes they want to build, living the lives they want to live, and having the cultural elements within their community that they really want to have.
Yep. Exactly.
Awesome.
Well, I think we have covered a lot, and it's probably time to shut it down because I actually have to go to a training up in
Awesome.
Clarkson at 1 o'clock.
Awesome.
And it's completely about finding our strengths and
Hmm.
growing more, and it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about it. And just one more time for people that join late, tell everybody who you are, my audience, and what you're looking for.
So my name is Dominique Head. I represent the Pontiac Regional Chamber of Commerce. We are in Oakland Point Plaza, but we're all across the city. What we're looking for is entrepreneurs who want to actually grow and expand and move their business forward. Our key performance indicator is expanding people's personal income by $20,000.
All righty. And then for those that joined because of Domini, I'm Tashina Gonzalez. I am a health and wellness educator. I usually do a feel good Friday talking about some things, and sometimes I talk about mental wellness. And so we were talking about abundance mindset today. So that was my topic for my health and wellness because we talk about all aspects of it from head to toe. And if you guys don't know who I am, feel free to follow me on Facebook and on YouTube. Just look for my name, Tashina Gonzalez. I have tons of health and wellness information on there. But again, we were focused on abundance and mindset today. So I wanted to make sure I could bring value to everyone that was going to join this with us.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Thanks for your time, everyone.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.